Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing the last part, which is my eyeshadow declutter. I have a bunch from my advent calendar, my Pat McGrath, and my, huge box, so let's just get right into it. Don't ask me how I got 5 Pat McGrath palettes when I had 2 literally like 2 months ago. I'm ashamed of it. I think we all are, but let's go through it. Just the spiel, I'm not decluttering any of them, even though I bought them on like sale. Yeah, they're just way too expensive for me to declutter. Maybe in the future, but right now I'm going to keep them. I'll show you guys which ones I have. Like I said, I have 5 of them, so if you have watched my channel, you'll know these 2 are the most classic ones from me. I bought Mothership 5 first. This is Midnight Sun, and then I got number 6, which is Bronze Seduction, and then throughout the sale I got 3 more. I got, this is the rose one. What is this called? Rose Seduction? I can't remember what it's called. Divine Rose 2, sorry, yeah. This is Divine Rose 2. I got Subversive and Sublime. So these are the ones that I got later on. I honestly do love them very much. Truth be told, actually Sublime is my go-to and my first wishlist Pat McGrath palette, because I'm into the cool tones every once in a while. I feel like this is a really wearable palette as well. I just really enjoy it. I just never bought it because it was never on sale, but yeah, finally got it, and yeah, I really like them. As you can tell, I haven't used many of these, so like this one looks brand new, so does this and that one, because I haven't used it that much. But yeah, I really enjoy these palettes, and the good thing about the ones I bought like in the newer collection is that none of the shades repeat, except for in Sublime and Subversive. The 2 blacks are repeated, but apart from that, everything else is different, which I love and I'm really happy about. Really like these. Let me know if you want me to do like a ranking on my Pat palettes. I think that'll be quite fun as well. So yeah, let me just quickly swatch some of my favorite shades from these palettes and call it a day. Divine Rose 2, I think the most special shade is this kind of multi-chrome chameleon shade. This is a pink green shift. You can see in my mirror it looks green, right? But it's actually pink when you look at it straight on, and similar effect. It's such a cool shade, right? Like, look at that, and it's very bling. And let's look at my Sublime. I really enjoy this corner kind of blue orange white shade. It's just Pat McGrath makes some of the best glitters in my opinion. And then let's look at Subversive. I really enjoy this gold shade. I think this one's like a true gold. It's really pigmented, beautiful. Look at that. These are just stunning, and let's give it a little swatch. Look how far these extend as well. They just have such great pigmentation to them, and they blend really easily. The only complaint I have about the multi-chrome is not the most wearable shade, but again, Pat McGrath palettes aren't meant to be super wearable for every day. They're meant to be like a glitz and glamour situation, and oh my goodness. And you can see after I swatched it, it even leaves this glittery kind of shine on my fingers. It's just so pretty. Really love these. I love these palettes to bits, and not decluttering. Probably will do like a review on them because I do like them a lot. So yeah. These are the 4 Tom Ford quads I have left in my collection. From last declutter, you guys would know I got rid of 2 of them because I felt like I wouldn't use them. And I'm really happy with this collection. I think this is a great kind of view on my Tom Ford quads. I'm not going to declutter any of them further. I've already condensed it last time, and I think I'm going to keep it like this. Some of my 9pan K-Beauty palettes I have from 3CE, Dark, and I do have a Nars one. Just as a precursor, I'm not decluttering this Nars palette. This is Climax. It's one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes ever, especially for like the colder months. This is just absolutely gorgeous. I love the way all these shadows blend together. Like, look at this satin metallic. It just is so pigmented and stunning. And these mattes are also super creamy and easy to use. I think Nars is literally one of the most underrated brands when it comes to their eyeshadows and powders in general, because I don't know why they make all their eyeshadow palettes limited edition. It's just kind of dumb in my opinion, because these are so pretty. But yeah, look at that. 2 swipes and the pigment transfers really nicely. It's just a very, very high quality palette and shadow formula. Really enjoy it. It's long wearing. Definitely recommend getting a Nars eyeshadow palette, especially if you love the color story. But now let's look at these. I have 4 palettes from Darkseek and you can tell that they all look very, very similar. I quite like this pink one just because I'm now getting into pink eyeshadow. I actually really like this because you get 18 shades, even though the pans are quite small, but it's actually quite nice because realistically it's quite hard to pan an eyeshadow palette. So yeah, I really like this one and I think it's good to have a pinkier, more pigmented shade. And you can see these actually have decent pigment to them, which I think is really nice. So yeah, look at that. That's actually really good, especially for K-beauty, right? This is really, really good. And their glitters are just phenomenal as always. Let's go in with one of these. Oh, these are kind of more iridescent. It's so pretty, like a clear base. These are just so nice when you top onto your lids. And it's like a puttier formula. It's not as like eyeshadowy. It's just so fun. Really like it. And yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this one. Really like the pigments and it's pink, but definitely I don't need 3 brown eyeshadow palettes. I think that's just a little bit too excessive. I've mentioned in the past this is my favorite from them because it's the most pigmented and I do like a brown color story, so I'm gonna keep this one for sure. Now the question is, which one should I keep from these two? And I think I'm gonna keep this one. This is number 10, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Autumn Breeze. I really like the glitters. This one's a very nude palette. This one's leaning a little bit brown, just like the chocolate fudge one, so I don't really need it. I think it's a bit redundant in my collection, so I'm going to actually pass this on. I have 3 3CE palettes. Awesome, 3 for 3CE. And you guys know Smoother is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes of all time. Just from the amount of dents and pans in this palette, you can tell how much I love it. This is just really great for every day. It's an all matte palette. It's quite basic, but again, this is what I reach for a lot, so definitely keeping this one. I recommend this to all the girlies who have like a warm yellow tone. This is really, really pretty. Love it. And I do really enjoy this one as well for all the glitter formulas you can get out of it. It's just really fun and one that is easy to pair with any look. Like, look at that. How nice is that? This is almost like a putty, kind of like the Fenty highlighter situation. It's really nice. I really enjoy this palette. It's not one you can use by itself, or at least it's very hard to because you just get a very pink base. But yeah, I do like using this one a lot, so keeping this one. This is the palette called Overtake. It's very, very viral because it's meant to be perfect for every look. I actually find this one very autumn. It's just very orange brown, which is normally what I gravitate towards, but because I have so many palettes, I feel like this is one that I neglect quite a bit. This is very viral on like Chinese websites especially, and this was actually endorsed by one of my favorite celebrities, which is why I bought it. I know I'm one of those people. I am ashamed of it too, don't worry. But yeah, I don't reach for it enough, and it's sad because this one actually has a mirror, which the 3C palettes don't have. This is a limited edition packaging, but yeah, I don't use it enough, so I'm going to say goodbye to it. I feel good about this collection. We're going to move on to the next set of eyeshadow palettes. Guys, it's a monstrosity here in my eyeshadow palette collection, so I'm just going to grab it and go for it. Yeah, there's not going to be a clear box maybe. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm just going to grab it and hope for the best. This is a monstrosity. I'm not proud of how many palettes I have. But yeah, we'll go through it one by one and just see what I'm decluttering or not. Let's start off with these Charlotte Tilbury quads. I'm pretty sure I have another one. Oh, I found it. Here we are. I have 3 Charlotte Tilbury quads. I used to have 1, now I have 3. But yep, let's go through these. First of all, this is a classic Pillow Talk. I really like this color story. The formula is actually quite subpar in my opinion. It's not super special. Like, it's creamy, it's nice, but these mattes are just so easy to use for every day and they give such a soft look. Like, that hint of pink really just gives an elevated everyday look, and this glitter is really quite pretty. It's on the drier side, I would actually say. It's not like the most creamy and soft, but it is really, really nice for a dramatic effect. I really enjoy this eyeshadow palette. I think it's one you can definitely just, it's a no-brainer. You can reach for it and you'll get a really cute look out of it. So yeah, I really like this one and I get the hype. The next one in the family is actually Pillow Talk Dreams. This is much darker and it's more brown based, I would say. Brown and warmer as well. The other one was quite neutral. If I want to just like quickly compare it, You can see how this is much darker than the original Pillow Talk and has more of a chocolate base to it. And the formula actually is a step up. It's a lot softer. I think it's easier to use and blend. It's a lot prettier, and the glitters are also finer and much creamier as well. Like, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so much easier to use than the original Pillow Talk, which I would say is drier. This is much more creamy. Really enjoy it, but it's definitely too dark for every single day. I would say it's a good like smoky look. The latest Charlotte Tilbury quad is Exaggerize. This is also super famous, especially in China and Asian market, because it's more neutral, cool, and I actually really like it. I've been using it non-stop. If you follow me on IG, you would know I use this like crazy. I really like this matte shade. It's just really easy to use for any look, honestly. It's this perfect neutral brown, and it just is so nice for days when you have a puffy eye. It will help depuff. If you just want to extend your eyes, it will be like a soft little shading moment. And this glitter is so pretty. It is really nice. Let me see if I can swatch it. Are we seeing that? That is so pretty. It looks like Colourpop's Ritz. It has like a small subtle beige shade, and it has these silver glitters. It's just a really beautiful palette. I think this is my favorite out of the three, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, keeping all three of these because I can see myself using them quite a bit. My two Colourpop eyeshadows, I use them a lot. I try to use them a lot at least, and this is the one I've been focusing on lately. You can see I've made a dent in it. This is Fluffy and Hungry. It's this beautiful orange based glitter. It's just really nice for a pop of shine. It's not super glittery, and it just helps your look become elevated. And this is Frog. This is the more like sparkly, wow, I need to kind of let everyone know I'm wearing glitter. Look at that. The amount of shimmer packed in it is just insane, and it has a clear base, so it really matches with everything. Really love these two. Colourpop outdid themselves with these single Super Shock shadows. I really like them. Definitely keeping. Talking about Colourpop, we already know this is my favorite mauve palette of all time. This is really good. Admittedly, I haven't used it since my last decluttering, but I do like this color story, and it's one I know I do like, especially for the cooler months. So maybe because it's summer now, I don't reach for it, my bad. So yeah, hopefully I'll use it a little bit more. I really like this one. Let's just do a little swatcherito for the sake of it. I really like their matte with shimmers actually. This is an unpopular opinion, but I think matte with shimmers are such sophisticated eyeshadow formulas because it's a one and done shadow. You can kind of just put it on and call it a day because it has a base and it has a little bit of shimmer to make it like, you know, interesting. Let's talk about Elisa. This is the most viral K-beauty palette I would say like ever because their glitters are so out there. You have your like super chunkies, and then you have your super fine glitters. These are just absolutely incredible. I would say the chunky glitter is a little bit hard to wear out for every single day, but it is so fun for like a festival or something like that. You can see the glitter chunks, and it just wears all day as well. You can see it transferred from my fingers really nicely onto my hand. So yeah, it's one that will adhere to the surface. I really enjoy it. I think it's great. It's not as fine or soft as other, I guess, eyeshadow glitters, but it's one that does stay all day, and I can see the hype around it. This is the shade All of Coral Pink. So yeah, I do like this color story. We'll be keeping it. This is my Kaja Bento eyeshadow. This is Peach Madeline, and I do like this one. I was going to take a traveling with me when I was in China, but I decided not to just because I had my Charlotte Tilbury. I didn't want to break this one. But this is really compacted. You have a chunky glitter, like a foiled shade. You have a fine, super glittery, and then you have a matte. I just think this is really easy to use, and I do love how compacted it is, and it's super satisfying. Next, I have this Peri Pera Maltese Collection eyeshadow palette. I actually really enjoy this, and I must say this is a palette I didn't think I would use that much, but I ended up reaching for it a ton, especially when I first got it. This is an issue because I buy so many things that I don't focus on my older items. So this is why this year I'm starting to like really do my decluttering really fine, and this is a palette I do enjoy using a lot because these mattes, I guess it's also an issue, but they're so similar that I can just like sweep through all of them and it becomes like a base shade, and I pick one of these like glitters and call it a day. It's really pretty, and I especially like this kind of blue glitter because the base is quite transparent. If I show you guys, and it's super fine and packed with these glitters. It looks almost like frog, but it has more of like an icy base to it. It's just super pretty. I enjoy this palette and it's super affordable as well. So yeah, keeping this one. I also do like how long and flat it is. It's quite unique. And also, come on, this is so cute. Another KB palette is Roman. This is my Sanrio palette. I really like this color story. The only complaint, if you saw my review, is that the black is not that pigmented. It does build up eventually, but it takes a while. I like this. It fulfills my grunge makeup dreams and I think it's cute. I really like this galactic glitter, but I don't like pressing into it because it mixes it all up and it's not as like pretty, but it is super nice on the lids. Like you can see, I love these kind of more purpley blue shimmers and it's just one that really stands out. Look at that. I really enjoy this palette. I think it's one I reach for a lot, especially when I'm looking for like a kind of shadow and I guess smoky look, but I don't want it too intense. This is what I reach for. And I do like the mauvey kind of undertones as well. Now I have 4 palettes from Clio. I don't need that many, honestly, so we're definitely going to get rid of some of them. I want to talk about Napping Cheese. This is a beautiful nude palette. It's really easy to use. There's not much tonal variations, but it's really just one you can pick up and you know you can get a good makeup day because you have like these matted shimmers, which again are actually really pigmented, and you have your glitters. So yeah, I actually really like this palette just because it's for like a no-brainer day. It's like a, oh, okay, I don't want to wear too much makeup, but I want it to look flattering. This is what I reach for, and I love the cat. It's just so cute. Look at that. I love Clio eyeshadows. They just blend incredibly well. They're so stunning and they're relatively affordable as well, so I really enjoy them for that one. And you guys know Brown Shoe is classic. I absolutely adore it and I haven't touched it much, if I'm being honest, because there are so many new releases constantly and I'm trying out so many new formulas, but this is one that I always know I can rely on for a good makeup day. It's just really easy to use and it's not super pigmented, but it can be built up. I really like it, and yeah, I think I'm keeping these 2 for sure. Let's see about these 2, just because these 2 are so similar. This is the shade Spring Sunshine on Canvas and Street Brick. These almost looks like they're dupes for each other, right? They're so similar in color story. I remember I got this clearly because I remember someone said Red Velvet's makeup artist uses this, so I'm like, oh, I need it. And I was really drawn to this holographic glitter. Like, this is insanely stunning. It's so pretty. I always get drawn to the glitters even though I don't use it that much, which is an issue, but look at that. It just has such great impact. You also have another like chunkier glitter in this palette. Oh my god, they're all so pretty. But I think I'm going to say goodbye to Street Brick just because this one has a little bit more of like the mattes and matted shimmers. It's one I gravitate towards a little bit more, and this one is a little bit too like glittery and shimmery for me. So yeah, I'm gonna say goodbye to Street Brick and gonna keep Spring Sunshine on Canvas. Let's talk about Natasha Denona. This is the gold palette. It looks brand new because I haven't touched it. You guys know I have beef towards Natasha Denona because of their whole situation with the eyeliner and mono lid. I'm just not happy with how the brand handled it, and I feel like if I'm purchasing something, I need to purchase something that I stand with, like a brand I stand with and I'm happy to buy from them. The whole situation just rubbed me wrong. I didn't really like how everything was handled, not only online but offline as well. It was just not good. So yeah, even though I really like the brand and I like their eyeshadows, it's just something I will not reach for because I don't get any joy out of it. I'm like, why am I using a brand that doesn't care about me or my people, and they think that we're just there to spend money? It's ridiculous. In this day and age, we shouldn't have people making fun of other people. Like, grow up, please. And yeah, I don't use it, so I'm just going to declutter it. I wanted to keep it for memory's sake and like collection, but you know, there's no point. Whenever I look at it, I'm kind of pissed off by it, and it's in such great condition. I feel like it deserves a better home, so decluttering the gold palette, and it's like limited edition. So next up is this palette by Hints. I really enjoy this one. That green is surprisingly really easy to use and pretty. So what I like to do is I like to take a little bit of the green. Let's say this is my eye. I put a little bit of green on, and then I get a little bit of like the pink to smudge out the edges like so, just to make it blend a little bit better. And I get a little bit of like a glitter pat, 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 pat in the center, and it looks so pretty. I really like this palette. It just makes my eyeshadow look more fun and still wearable, so it's like in my comfort zone. Formulas blend really great, really like it. Well sought out, definitely keeping. This is the Esper Mint Check Notebook. I really like this palette. I like how they have like a blush shade, technically 3, and these are just very light, very fun for the spring and summertime. And these glitters are again so pretty and phenomenal, but I don't reach for it enough, and I think I have these shades in other palettes that I use a lot more, especially like these 2 shades reminds me a lot like the Roman Sanrio palette, which I think I'll be using more, so I'm going to declutter this one even though I really like it. I'm not going to use it, so there's no point keeping it in my collection. I'm doing so good this year, guys. I feel really proud of myself. Another Clio palette. This is Scoop of Shades. This is the cutest ice cream theme ever. Like, look at that. You have wafers, you have melted ice cream, cones, and oh, it's just so cute. Yeah, really cute pink palette just for every day. Makes me feel really soft and like kind of cutesy. I love it for that. I really like, again, the glitters and these kind of like iridescent, shifty, satiny metallics. That is really pretty. I really enjoy using this palette. It's one I reach for quite a bit, especially again nowadays in the spring and summertime. So yeah, keeping this one for sure, and I do love the packaging. Oh, this Wake Make palette is one that I've been using like crazy. I really love the color story. I love me some red in my eyeshadow, and this one is the perfect burnt burgundy shade. It just is so fun. I love it for my under eyes, and these shimmers are super finely milled and they just last all day on your eyes. This is a palette that I reach for a lot. I love my brown tones, a little bit of red and warmth, so this is one that I reach for a ton, especially if you saw my IG. I was obsessed with this palette. I used it for like 2 weeks straight. So yeah, really love it. Keeping this one. And another ColourPop palette. This is the Sailor Moon one. I really like it, but oh my gosh, the glitters are everywhere. I especially enjoy this yellow shade. This is quite unique in my collection, and recently I saw a photo of like an eyeshadow look with some yellow on the center, so I'm going to try that out. Really keeping this one just for that yellow shade and like that purple. It's a cute color story, not one I always reach for, but whenever I reach for it, I know that this will do me well. We already know Nars Ignited is my favorite eyeshadow palette of all time, period. That is it. Literally everything about it is awesome. Maybe just need a few more mattes, but I love this eyeshadow palette to bits. It's one of the best creations ever. Again, this red, these kind of shimmers, and just they always guarantee a beautiful makeup look. Can we see how easily that just swiped onto my skin? Literally, you don't have to put any effort into it, and it came off my fingers like a dream. So you know it has great transferability, and it just looks mesmerizing on your eyes. It's just multi-dimensional, really stunning and beautiful. Cannot rave about it enough. Love Nars to bits, so keeping this one for sure, and it's a color story I love. Another Nars palette, this is the Wanted palette. Again, really beautiful neutrals with like those reds that I love and a little bit of an olive just to break it up. That being said, I actually don't reach for this one enough. I do love the color story and everything, like I said just then. Nars palettes are ones that you want to grab, especially if you see a color story that you really enjoy. And I thought I would love this one a lot because, you know, it has everything. It has like a dark matte, it has a light matte, it has a kind of champagne glitter, it has like, it just screams perfection to me. But for some reason, I don't reach for it, which is weird because this is meant to be like the dream palette. So yeah, I'm going to declutter this one because I don't use enough. It deserves a much better home. I made decent progress on it, but I think it's time to move on. More ColourPop. This is the Off Quartz palette. It's a beautiful smoky grey tone palette, which I absolutely adore. My friend Azra gave this to me and I have loved it ever since I was given it. These grey shades are just so unique in my collection, and I love using it for, again, smoky eyes. And this is just so fun to me. These like kind of blue steel kind of gunmetal shades are so unique. Really enjoy it. Love this palette. And look at that. Oh, that's such a mesmerizing like shimmery shade. Let's swatch it. Why not? Oh, look at that. That matte with shimmer is just everything. I do love me some ColourPop. They do have too many releases, so they've kind of fallen off the radar for me. I haven't thought about actively purchasing from them, but when I use their products, I love it a lot. So yeah, keeping this one for sure. This is my So Jaded by ColourPop. It is a massive eyeshadow palette, and I always say I keep it for like if I use colors. But the truth is I don't really use any colorful eyeshadows, at least not actively, and I feel like the shades I do use, I already get it from other palettes, so there's not much point of me keeping it, just because, you know I'm not going to actively be seeking these out and reaching for it only once in a while, and most of these aren't even used. It's a shame to keep in my collection, so I think I'm actually going to declutter it after all those years of saying, oh, I'm going to keep it, use it, whatever. But no, I know I won't use it, so I'm going to say goodbye to it. Colourpop Plush Like Me, similar story. I like the shades, I just don't actively reach for it. I feel like it's being wasted in my collection, so I'm going to say goodbye to it because it's in relatively good condition and it's like a newer release from them. So yeah, I'm going to say goodbye because I don't use it enough. Oh, I do want to mention this one actually has a mirror in it, which is quite nice. Most Colourpop palettes don't have a mirror. This is the Wake Make Salted Caramel, I'm pretty sure. Butter Caramel palette. I absolutely adore this one. This one's really, really cute. I haven't used it since my last declutter, which is really bad. I have to reach for it a little bit more because I do love like this tonal variation in their blush. This is quite interesting. And you have your mattes and then you have your shimmers on top. It's a well thought out palette. You have great formulas. Yeah, gonna keep this one and use it. This is the original Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette. I know this one caused a stir online because it was like there was mold in it and everything, but I actually never experienced any, like molding with mine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just like the glitter flies everywhere, but that's not a big issue in my opinion. And yeah, this palette just serves me really well. I really enjoy it. Like the shimmers are super pigmented, really pretty. The mattes are also insanely easy to use. I just think this is an all-rounder palette. I love it so much, and you can see the amount of impact these have. I just like using this palette whenever I need like a brown everyday palette. Admittedly, I use these 6 shades a lot more than those, but these are fun for like eyeliners as well. I really like it, and I do like the inclusion of 2 creams, even though I don't really use them that much. I don't use them as eyeliner either. They do tend to smudge a tad, but they're great as a base if you want a super smoky, intense look. Last but not least is another pink palette. This is from Peri Pera. I'm becoming a pink kind of makeup girly, but yeah, this one is just really pretty. I also do like this kind of baked highlighter and blush in the center. It's really fun just because it melts super easily, and because it has that baked effect, you can see how it looks a lot smoother in comparison to actual shadows. And yeah, this formula is just really nice. I like using it and I highly recommend. Look how nice this is. Now this is compacted, much cleaner than what we started off with, and that's it for my eyeshadow declutter. Well guys, this is my declutter for my eyeshadow collection. I'm pretty happy with it. I think this is quite a bit. I got rid of, let's see, 5, 7, I got rid of 8 palettes. I think that's a pretty big step up compared to the past few times. And you can see I decluttered like products I just know I won't reach for and use. There's still definitely quite a bit left, but one step at a time, am I right? But yeah, that's it for my declutter for 2023. This is crazy. I now have a much more condensed makeup collection as opposed to what I had at the start, and I just hope 2024 will be a year of greatness for all of us, and panning. Hopefully we get to use more makeup and just make a lot of progress. My arms are now covered in eyeshadow and swatches, but it is all enjoy. But yeah, that is it for today's video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up or even subscribe to my channel. And please reach out if you are interested in purchasing any of these from me as secondhand. But yeah, that is it for today. I hope you guys have a great remaining year, and I'll see you guys in the new year.